I'm Nick Pomeroy with PR Equipment out here in Kearns, Texas. Hey, today we want to talk about an implement that I don't think we've ever covered before, and that's a rear angle blade. We don't sell as many rear angle blades as we do maybe box blades or grater scrapers. There's a few reasons for that. An angle blade kind of has some very distinct purposes, and most people, you know, a box blade will serve their purposes, and it's usually a little cheaper because there's just less to it. It really is just a welded up steel box with some shanks. But these little grater blades, these angle blades, grater blades, there's just a lot of different names for them. They've got a place too, and depending on what you're trying to accomplish, this might be the right tool for you. And so this is one of the Dirt Dog angle blades. They make a lot of different series of angle blades. This happens to be a 35 series, the 3500, and it's an 05, which means it's a 5-foot blade. We also stock like the 5000 series, and I've got some 5006s I think over there as well. Little heavier blade, a little more to it. But there's a lot of different uses for these, and I've talked about it time and time again. That Dirt Dog quality, it's second to none in my book. And when you're buying something that's ground engaging, I think it's important to buy quality. I think over the long run you might spend a little bit more, but over the long run you won't regret it. So when you're looking at any ground engaging attachment or implement, I think it's always important to kind of look at the weight of it. Weight matters in this sort of application, and so part of that is because the more weight, the chances are the heavier it's built, but also that weight helps you really get into the ground. And so this 3505 weighs, I think it's 280 pounds, about 300 pounds. And for a 5-foot blade with a single point of contact, I think that's pretty good. You could always add some weight, but Dirt Dog doesn't build things light, and especially when you get into this 3500 series or maybe the 5000 series, you get a lot of built-in weight. So the difference between this and a box blade is, you've probably seen box blades where they have a side to it, and it's really designed to move dirt. You can pull that material with you as you're maybe grading the driveway or moving dirt from here to there. But with an angle blade, that's not really its purpose. You can still grade your road. It is a little trickier because there's not those sides, or even on a grater scraper, there's not the two blades that kind of help keep you from gouging. So it can be a little tricky to grade with this, but if you're cutting ditches or trying to contour, this is the attachment for you. And so these come in a lot of different varieties. If you're not looking at a Dirt Dog and you're looking at a different brand, you're gonna see some lighter ones out there, and you're also gonna see some with different functionality. There are still some manufacturers out there that produce these where the only function is this angle, and I'll show you what that looks like. Where the only function is the angle at which it runs. I do not advise you purchase one of those. It may be fine for now, but having some more functionality really makes this piece of equipment extremely useful. And so this is kind of nice, though. The first functionality is kind of that angle, and that's why they call it the angle blade. But you'll see it allows us to use one edge or the other to begin our cut, and then of course it pushes all that material to the other side as we drag it on. And so that is the important functionality to start with. And also, this is a reversible blade. So with a reversible blade, we can also flip it all the way around and pin it, and that allows us to push by backing up as well as pull by dragging forward. Most of the time when we're using these, we're going to be going forward though. So that's the first function, is that angle. Now, I think one of the other incredibly important functions that you don't get on every angle blade is this pitch. And so being able to tilt that blade is incredibly important as well. So this blade has one angle each direction. So you can tilt it, I believe it's 15 degrees each direction. And as you move up in the series, you're going to find more angles and more options. But this gives you one good position on each side. And if you ever need to fine tune that, you can always do that with the side link. That's adjustable on your tractor. And so if I needed to maybe change that angle just a little bit, I could do it up here. So, and one other thing I noticed on these, there's actually a position to put it in free float, if I can get it in. And so free float lets it move to be honest with you. I guess that would work good if you were trying to do finish blading, but it's not something I've ever used. So for me, I'm more interested in let's angle this. Great for cutting ditches, great for contouring. There's just a lot you can do with it. And there's a hole here somewhere. And so that is the 2 angles this blade does. And for most people, that's really all you need. Now, as you move up to maybe a 500 series, you can also get a blade that will offset. What I mean by that is it will pivot here and the whole blade can swing side to side, giving you even more versatility. So the 500 or the 5000 series from Dirt Dog gives you that added versatility. However, for most people, these 2 functions are really what you're looking for. You want to be able to contour, you want to be able to get some of those angles that you really can't do with your box blade or your grater scraper. And so I'm going to put this back. I'm going to change the angle here, because you always want your down, well, in most applications, I guess, you want your down corner to lead the way. So we want that to be the leading edge. And I'm going to set this here. And as always with basically every Dirt Dog implement, they're always quick hitch compatible. They're always built really, really well. Good heavy steel tubing. It's a quality implement that you're going to have around for a long time. Great paint, you know, built in Georgia. There's just a lot to like about the Dirt Dog implements. And so we're going to take this for a spin. I've got this hooked to a Yanmar SA424. It's a great 24 horsepower tractor that we sell a lot of. It's actually a pretty good fit for this application, no larger than this blade is. If you were going to get into some of those wider blades, of course, we need to look at horsepower requirements. But we're going to take this for a spin and just see what all I can do. So I'm constantly kind of maneuvering that blade to adjust how deep it's going. Now it does kind of want to dig in a little bit, and you will find that on your smaller tractors, that when it digs in, it is hard to pull. So I'm gonna adjust it down a little bit. But what you'll notice here is that when it really digs in, it gets hard to pull. And so this tractor is brand new and it doesn't have any fluid in the tires. And you can see, we kind of run out of traction. So if we adjust it and don't take such a big bite, it's going to do a little bit better job. Now we're also in some pretty soft ground out here in this softer soil, and so in harder soil it's not going to be able to bite as much. But you can kind of control it and go slow about it and kind of fine-tune how that blade is working. And so we're going to adjust it one more time. I'm going to swing the angle of the blade a little bit more aggressive, and I think when we do that, it won't take quite such a big bite, or at least it'll move the material out of the way a little quicker. If I can find the hole. So I'm going to back up and let's take one more run at it. So here we go with the next pass. So when we made it more aggressive, it moved the dirt out of the way a lot faster. And so it enabled us to do a little bit better job at moving the dirt out of the way and kind of creating this ditch. Now this is pretty sticky and we're in pretty loose soil, so we weren't getting a lot of traction, which is where having some fluid in the tires or maybe some wheel weights or something of that nature I think will help a lot. But one last thing I'll show you, and we talked about it earlier, is kind of how you can fine-tune the adjustment using the linkage on the tractor. So just one last thing to know is kind of the adjustments on the tractor. There's really actually two, and there's the tilt at which we have our top link set. And I typically, what I like to see is that frame of that angle blade being kind of parallel with the world. I think that's kind of the best way to set that. You can actually adjust it to change just how aggressive it is. You could tilt it back and you wouldn't take such a hard bite. You can tilt it forward and maybe take an even harder bite. But what I want to focus on today is one of the adjustments here. And that's, we're going to use our side link here to change the angle of the implement. So I'm going to pull up on this. Since there is only two adjustments to the tilt of the blade, I'm going to try to find something in the middle. And so how I'm going to do that is I'm going to shorten that side link and kind of bring that angle up just a little bit. So it's kind of a little bit of a slow process, but once you get it set. So as you can kind of see, the whole frame has tilted. So we've kind of counteracted just a little bit of the tilt of the blade. So whether this is, 15 degrees, 20 degrees, whatever, and then the angle of the hitch is now changed, and let's see how that cuts. We're not taking quite such a bite. And I really like what that did there. And if I was doing a ditch or just maybe trying to contour my land a little bit, I think that's really handy. So I'm Nick Pomeroy with PR Equipment here in Kearns, Texas, and I just wanted to, show you what the Dirt Dog angle blade is capable of doing. I hope we've kind of answered some of your questions and showed you kind of a couple tips and tricks on how to use it. These come in a variety of series and sizes and all those things, but I don't think you can go wrong with the Dirt Dog quality. If you guys are interested in a Dirt Dog attachment or maybe even a whole new tractor package or whatnot, call or text us, 903-270-0877. Check us out on YouTube, Facebook, our website. We're all over the internet. We're always looking at new videos and new content to bring you to make sure that you guys, we're answering questions and helping you the best we can. But as always, come see us.